Well, it certainly doesn't feel like it in southwest Missouri, but winter is coming. What do you need to do to get your quail ready and make sure that they make it through the winter safe and sound? That's what I'm going to get covered in today's video, so stick around. Hey guys, welcome back to another Slightly Rednecked video. Again, my name's Chris. If you're not familiar with this channel, I help you to produce your own meat, eggs, and vegetables from your backyard, your balcony, your deck, your garage, or heck, even a spare room in your house if that's the way you want to do it. And today we're discussing what is it you need to do to make sure your quail stay healthy and happy all winter long in the cold months that are coming ahead. You know, honestly, there's not a whole lot that you need to do. I've discussed this before and I've shot videos on this before. Quail are incredibly cold hardy. In fact, they actually struggle a little bit more in the heat of summer than they do in the cold of winter. Really, the only thing that you need to worry about is making sure that they have some kind of wind block, somewhere to get out of the wind. As long as they have that, they can handle sub-freezing temperatures, no problem whatsoever. The hardest part about wintertime, if you live in a cold climate, is water, because water freezes up in the wintertime, and there's no way to really keep your watering system from freezing up. You might be able to keep the water inside from freezing up, but it's going to freeze up at the valves, at the, depending on what kind of watering system you're using, right where the water comes out, that part will freeze up. So you have to pretty much switch over to a crock. And what I use in the wintertime, let me grab one of them and I'll show you exactly what I use in the wintertime. All right, so this is basically what I use in the wintertime. It's just a Tupperware style container. This is a filthy one. It's not one that I'm going to use. I'll clean it up before I use it if I do. It's just got a couple of holes cut in the side, pretty high up. I can fill the water up to about here. And the nice thing about this is it has a lid on it. If you put just a bowl of water in there for your quail, they're going to jump in it. They're going to get it all filthy and all kinds of nasty, get water all over themselves. You really need to use something that kind of prevents them from doing that. This gives them a little hole. They stick their head through, get a drink of water, and then usually I have to fill this up. Just fill it up a little bit in the morning, and then it freezes over before they're done drinking it. I can put water right on top of it in the evening, and then it freezes over before they're done drinking it. And then the next morning I'll bring a fresh container out, take the other one into thaw, and start the process all over again, if that makes sense. But that's really the hardest part about wintertime, is just keeping them watered. You got to water them a couple of times a day, because they don't really have enough. I usually do 2 times a day. 2 times a day is enough. Once in the morning, once in the afternoon, going into evening. They get plenty of water and they're fine for the rest of the night. But again, the only other thing, provide them with a wind block of some kind. Now let me show you my cage here. The way this is set up is this half over here is all screen, and this half over here is all solid wood all the way around. Let me open it up. I've got a defective barrel lock here, so. There we go, good grief. All right, so I can open this up. You can kind of see all the birds right now are in the little sandbox in here, but it is all solid. Now there's a little bit of wire floor over here, but I do have the sandbox portion over here. Hopefully you can see that from the video. And this blocks the wind from underneath, from the sides, everything. This works perfectly fine. This is all the protection that they need for wintertime. Let me go show you another cage setup that I have that's just slightly different. All right, so this cage is very similar. It's just a little bit different. The big difference, let me open this up over here and I'll show you. The big difference is I don't have a solid floor in here. Instead, what I've got is a box that they can get inside of. And hopefully you can see that. This is just a, get out of there, guys. Get out of there, you go. This is just an old dropping box that actually needs to be emptied right now, so I'll go ahead and do that. And I'll put sand in here, but they tend to kick it all out. But this gives them a place where they can get off the wire and have a block from the wind coming up underneath. Most of the time in the wintertime, even when it's really cold out, sometimes even when it's snowing and the wind's blowing hard, they're hanging out over here in the open. But they need to have that option where they can get out of the wind if they need to. So again, the cold weather is really not a concern for the birds. They handle the cold and perfectly well. Now I don't know if you can see in my cage here, I've got several of them that are molting right now, and they tend to do that right as the season starts to change. They'll have their feathers back in before the real cold of winter hits. They'll be fine, but again, not really much you have to do. They handle the cold incredibly well. It doesn't seem to bother them one bit, as long as they have somewhere where they can get out of the wind and you give them plenty of fresh water every day. Hopefully this puts your mind at ease. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, God bless.